Very good morning to you out there, and welcome to this 11th episode in our series titled How Chevron is Underdeveloping its Host Communities, with special emphasis on the IRDC and CICD models of intervention. At this stage, we are getting to the critical point of our discussion, a point at which we will look at the respective agreements, dissect them, know how they came about, look at their background, and how they were negotiated. I had said in the previous edition that the usual routine of Chevron is that it sits down, gets its brain together to draft an agreement. After drafting that agreement, the next thing that it does is to try to rubber stamp the agreement by getting together a group of persons from the community with whom they have been doing business for a long time to ratify this agreement. Now, you may want to ask yourself, who are these people who ratified the agreement? Where did they ratify the agreement? And under what circumstances were the agreements ratified? I am talking of the IRDC agreement giving rise to the GMOU, and the CICD agreement giving rise to the OMOU. These two documents are the critical documents surrounding the implementation of Chevron's critical corporate social responsibility towards the communities. One would expect that this document will be a product of the will, the dreams and aspirations of the people. As we go along, I want you to judge for yourself whether indeed these documents are. Now, after Chevron has drafted the agreement, Chevron now invites this set of people who have represented themselves to Chevron for more than a decade as the leaders of this community. Chevron does not arrange for the drafted documents to even be discussed here in Delta State. Chevron takes them far away to Lagos State and lodges them in the hotel under the pretext of trying to ratify a document which they had drafted. Now, the first preference would be for this document to go to the town hall meetings of the respective communities so that one will be able to infer that indeed the people participated in the process. But no, Chevron will not do that. The next option would be to bring it to an urban center, for example, Warri, to have the document discussed by a general assembly or a larger representative than the Mugabes that they have been dealing with. But Chevron will not do that. The next option would even be to take it as far as Asaba, which is still Delta State. But no, Chevron will take it far, far away in Lagos State so that the chances of the people knowing about it will be remote. Now, this is the pattern. This is the routine that each of the agreements take. When some indigents of the community are aggrieved, they now go to court. And I tell you, there are a plethora of cases in court. While the cases are in court, some of the so-called ratified GMOU would have expired. And the law, as long enunciated in the case of Ojukwu against Lagos State, is that once a party is aware that there's proceedings going on, it is ethical for the party to stay. But they won't stay. Beyond that, where even the aggrieved party now gets an injunction restraining parties from proceeding, restraining parties from altering or tampering with the rest, that is the subject matter of the suit. And indeed, Chevron is a party in all this suit. And the processes are served on Chevron. Chevron will still go behind because Chevron has over the years been able to find out that majority of the people are under bondage. Now, those who keep them under bondage are constantly empowered economically by Chevron to ensure that the bondage continues. And that is why they will tell you they have come to do business. Business on the freedom, compromising the freedom of the majority of people in whose community you drill oil. That is not business. And I hope that Chevron will be able to tell the world. Chevron will be able to indeed, like I said a few years ago, Chevron attempted to admit Harvard University to study these epileptic agreements as a model of development. What Chevron has done has been to support and entrench a regime of autocracy, of oligarchy. It may interest you to know that many of those who are senior management staff in Chevron today were just at the entry point when some of these Mugabes were still the leaders of their community. And several years after, they are still relating with these Mugabes. The question that one should ask Chevron is this: what kind of example is Chevron setting for the people in these communities when they will go behind the majority of the people and negotiate with the micro minority in the name of having a GMOU and an OMOU? I am tempted to say very cautiously that this entire process is fraudulent. And like it is said, you cannot build something on nothing and expect it to stand. It was Blessed Lord Denning that said in a celebrated case of McFoy against UAC, that what is void ab initio. You cannot build something on nothing and expect it to stand. So the correct position of these two documents is that they are void ab initio. There is nothing that can be built on it. So the sooner the operators of Chevron and the sooner the purported leadership under the GMOU and the MOU are able to realize that they have been building their house on a fraudulent basis, as a result of which there is no transparency, there is no accountability. It is very easy to take these people to Lagos, lodge them in a 5-star hotel, and give them very tempting amount of money. They will flip through whatever draft you have done and sign it. Is that how a company that is responsible ought to drive a process? I don't think so. And that is why I have said that there is a need for us to scrap this whole process and build a truly representative kind of model. We need to have town hall meetings in each of the communities to discuss, to negotiate our future. Let us take our future away from the hands of the Mugabe and Chevron. We have just had the NSAS movement. SARS is not just the technical SARS. It's not just the special anti-robbery squad. This entire process is technically pigeonholable into what constitutes SARS because it's oppressive. When you oppress people psychologically, it's more than oppressing them physically. These two models have taken the people slaves for over 10 years. And that is why it will be right, and I challenge anybody to prove me otherwise, that indeed Chevron is intelligently underdeveloping these communities. I ask that as you come with me, you come with the mind of objectivity and examine objectively the facts that are put on the table. I am prepared to engage anybody in any discussion to prove my point. As a lawyer and as a chief in Warri Kingdom, I make the statements I'm making and take the positions I'm taking with a very high sense of responsibility. I stake my integrity for it. What is currently going on is the slavery of the majority. It is the reenactment of apartheid in the Niger Delta region, and it must stop. And it must stop now. Thank you very much.